All right, so get ready because we're diving into some serious Congolese rumba today.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you shared Madilu System's VIEUX SAMI with us, and this song, let me tell you, it's way more than just like a catchy tune.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like a window into life in Kinshasa and Brazzaville, you know, in the early 2000s, and a story about this troubled marriage told with incredible rawness, and even like some surprising humor in there.
Yeah, it's interesting how he does that.
Yeah.
So Madilu System was, you know, a giant in Congolese music.
Right.
Especially after that legendary band TPOK Jazz disbanded.
Oh, yeah.
He went solo and released VIEUX SAMI as part of the 2002 album Femme Legitime.
Okay, so we've got this backdrop of Congolese rumba and like a seasoned artist. But what really struck me was how the song unfolds from the woman's perspective.
Oh, yeah.
It's like she's addressing both Kinshasa and Brazzaville. Almost like she's putting her marital woes like on blast for the entire community to hear.
That public airing of grievances is really interesting.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it suggests that like community plays a huge role in how relationships are perceived and judged.
Yeah.
It's not just a private matter between two people.
No.
It's very much a public thing.
And then there's this shopping basket incident.
Right.
The one that seems to trigger this whole outburst. She makes her husband VIEUX SAMI carry a basket at Chateau Rouge Mall in Paris, and he completely loses it. I mean,
it's funny, isn't it?
Come on.
Like a shopping basket.
A shopping basket.
It makes you wonder what's really going on beneath the surface.
Right.
On the one hand, we could see it as a commentary on masculinity and how certain actions, you know, might be perceived as emasculating within that cultural context.
But couldn't it also be about power dynamics, like within the relationship itself?
Yeah.
Maybe carrying the basket was just the final straw after years of like this built-up resentment and a struggle for control.
Exactly. It's likely a combination of those factors. You know, the song doesn't explicitly state why it's such a big deal for Sammy to carry the basket. So we're left to unpack the cultural and personal baggage that comes with such a seemingly simple act.
And unpack we shall, because this woman doesn't hold back.
No, she doesn't.
She lays out all of Sammy's shortcomings.
About Sammy's bad behavior. I mean, she calls him a ship captain when he's drunk.
Right.
So basically suggesting he hits on every woman in sight.
Yeah. The infidelity, years of her suffering while he's gallivanting around.
And she doesn't just list these grievances.
Right.
She uses such evocative language and imagery.
Yeah.
She compares him to the notorious wrestler Adingwe, implying he's just as brutal.
Right.
And the line about his stone-throwing accuracy being known even to neighborhood dogs.
I know, it's just like chilling, but strangely funny.
Yeah, it's chilling and strangely funny.
It is.
At the same time.
It's like she's using humor to cope with the pain.
Right, like if you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Exactly.
But it also highlights like the climate of fear she lives in.
Even the dogs are afraid of this guy.
It's a fascinating blend of humor and heartbreak.
It really is.
And those details about her fading beauty.
Yeah.
Comparing her skin to a ripe banana.
Because of Sammy's beatings.
Yeah, it's raw and honest.
Yeah.
And really paints a picture of the toll this relationship has taken on her.
And then there's that image of her breasts.
Oh, yeah.
Being flattened like socks from breastfeeding. And, well, let's just say Sammy's constant demands. It's so visceral.
Yeah.
Madilu doesn't shy away from like the physical and emotional reality.
No, he doesn't.
Of this woman's experience.
That rawness is what makes this song so powerful. It's not just a catchy tune.
All right.
It's a cry for help, a declaration of independence, a social commentary all rolled into one.
And speaking of social commentary, there's a lot to unpack there too.
For sure.
The fact that she's the breadwinner, for example.
Right.
What does that say about gender roles and societal expectations?
It definitely challenges the traditional notion of the man being the provider.
Yeah.
And her exhaustion from working as a housekeeper, only to have to endure Sammy's demands at night.
Right.
It speaks to the double burden many women face.
It also makes her decision to leave even more powerful.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, she's not just leaving a bad relationship. She's defying societal norms and taking control of her life. And that line, "Let me save myself from this toxic marriage."
It's a powerful statement.
Wow, what a statement.
Yeah, it's a declaration of self-worth. And notice how she doesn't ask for permission or forgiveness forgiveness.
Right.
She's informing him of her decision.
Yeah.
It's a subtle but significant shift in power dynamics.
I'm noticing a pattern here. It's like she's constantly battling these societal expectations and trying to find her own agency within them.
Yeah.
Even when she makes Sammy carry that basket, she tries to justify it by saying it was for the children's health. It's almost like she's internalized the blame for his reaction.
That internalized blame is a common dynamic in abusive relationships, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The victim can be manipulated into believing they deserve the abuse.
Right.
Or that they provoked it in some way. It's a cycle that can be incredibly difficult to break free from.
And yet, despite all of this, there's a glimmer of hope.
There is.
You know, she talks about finding a new husband.
Yeah.
Someone who will treat her with the love and respect she deserves. It's like she's refusing to let this experience define her.
Absolutely. It's a testament to her resilience and her belief that a better future is possible.
Yeah.
But before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's circle back to those generational references she makes.
Okay.
MJ era, the Pecos era, the Kojo's era.
Right.
I think they hold a lot of clues about the cultural landscape she's navigating.
I'm with you. They're like little time capsules. Each one evoking a specific period in Congolese history and culture.
And understanding those periods can help us understand her perspective.
Exactly.
Even more deeply.
So let's start with the MJ era.
Okay.
Now we can safely assume she's referring to Michael Jackson.
Right.
Because global stardom peaked in the 80s and early 90s.
Yeah.
So this reference immediately places her within a specific time frame and cultural context.
So she's likely someone who came of age during a time of massive global cultural shifts.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, he wasn't just a musician, he was like a phenomenon. They transcended borders and influenced everything from fashion to dance to social attitudes.
Precisely.
Right.
And in a place like Congo, which was undergoing its own political and social transformations at the time, the impact of someone like Michael Jackson would have been even more profound.
Yeah, it makes you wonder how she experienced that era. What memories and associations it holds for her. Was she like a diehard fan?
Yeah.
Did his music provide like an escape?
From the realities of life in Kinshasa or Brazzaville.
These are the questions we're going to explore further.
Okay.
As we unpack those other generational references.
Right.
The Pecos era and the Kojo's era.
Right.
Each one is like a piece of the puzzle, helping us construct a more complete picture of this woman's world.
Okay, so before we get lost in time travel, I have a question that's been like nagging at me.
All right.
Throughout the song, we hear this woman grappling with some serious issues.
Right.
Domestic abuse, infidelity, the weight of societal expectations. Yet, Madilu manages to inject humor into the narrative. Why do you think that is?
That's great observation. It's a delicate balance he strikes. But I think it's essential to the song's impact.
Okay.
Humor in this case isn't about making light of the situation. It's about highlighting the absurdity of it. The ways in which life can be both tragic and comical at the same time.
It's almost like a coping mechanism for both the woman in the song and for the listener. It allows us to process the pain without being completely overwhelmed by it.
Exactly. And it also serves as a form of social commentary. By using humor, Madilu invites us to laugh at the absurdity of these societal norms and power dynamics that contribute to the woman's suffering. It's a subtle but powerful way to challenge the status quo.
So we've got this captivating mix of personal drama and social commentary, all set against this backdrop of Congolese Rhumba. I'm already hooked.
Yeah, me too.
I can't wait to delve deeper into those generational references and see what other insights we can unearth.
I'm with you. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling VIEUX SAMI has a lot more to teach us about life, love, and the complexities of human relationships.
Okay, so let's time travel back to Congo for a bit.
All right.
And unpack those generational references.
Yeah.
You know, we left off with Michael Jackson.
Which sets the stage for, you know, this broader cultural landscape. Now, what about this Pecos era? I'll admit, I'm not familiar with that one.
Pecos likely refers to Pepe Kale.
Okay.
Another Congolese music legend.
Okay.
He was big in the 80s.
Okay.
With his band Empire Bakuba.
Okay.
Think hypnotic rhythms, big horns. socially conscious lyrics.
So not just a different musical style,
Yeah.
but maybe a different vibe altogether.
Yeah.
Like, how did Pipi Kali's music reflect what was going on in Congo at the time?
Spot on.
Yeah.
Kali was known for addressing societal issues,
Okay.
even criticizing the government in his music.
Wow.
This was during a time of political tension and economic hardship in Congo.
Right.
So his music resonated deeply with people who were struggling.
So our woman in VIEUX SAMI,
Yeah.
she's living through the Michael Jackson era with its like global pop culture explosion.
Yeah.
And she's experiencing the raw.
Yeah. Socially charged sounds of Pepe Kale.
Exactly.
Talk about a soundtrack for navigating a complex world.
Absolutely. And remember, she's also the breadwinner.
Right?
Working hard, facing domestic challenges. These musical references aren't just random.
Right.
They layer her life with the music that was likely playing
Yeah.
during those struggles.
It makes you hear the song differently.
Yeah.
Right? It's
Yeah.
not just a story. It's almost like a sonic time capsule
Yeah.
of a woman's life in Congo during those years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the Kojos era,
Okay.
which is a bit of a mystery.
Okay.
There isn't a widely recognized Congolese musician or band that immediately comes to mind.
Okay, so a true deep dive mystery.
Yeah.
What are our options here?
Well, it could be a reference
Right.
to a more niche artist or band that was popular locally in Kinshasa or Brazzaville.
Okay.
Maybe someone who had a big impact on the woman personally,
Right.
even if they weren't nationally known.
So like a hidden gem,
Yeah.
a local hero that added another layer to her musical landscape. I love that idea.
Or Kojos could be a reference to something else entirely. Maybe a slang term, a cultural trend,
Right.
a specific event that was significant during a certain period.
Like a cultural inside joke that only people living in Kinshasa or Brazzaville during that time would get.
Yeah, exactly.
That adds another level of depth to the song.
It does.
You know, making it even more specific to its time and place.
Exactly, and that's part of what makes VIEUX SAMI so fascinating.
Yeah.
It's like peeling back layers of history, culture, and personal experience with each listen.
Yeah, it's making me want to dig through Congolese music archive and see if I can crack the Kojos code myself. But before I go down that rabbit hole,
Okay.
let's come back to the song itself and its impact. You know, we talked about humor as a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
But what about Madilu's musical style? How does that contribute to the storytelling?
Well, Madilu was a master of blending traditional Congolese rumba with modern influences.
Okay.
You hear that in VIEUX SAMI.
Yeah.
Those pulsing rhythms, the soulful vocals, the horns that just grab you.
It's so danceable.
It is,
You can't help but move to it.
right?
Even while listening to this woman pour out her heartache. Is that intentional, do you think? Like, is Madilu trying to create a contrast?
I think it's more nuanced than just contrast. Remember, rumba is often about finding joy amidst hardship, resilience in the face of struggle.
Okay.
The music itself embodies that spirit.
So it's not about ignoring the pain,
Right.
but about finding a way to keep moving forward, to keep dancing through life even when things are tough.
Exactly, and that's why I think VIEUX SAMI resonates so deeply with listeners.
Yeah.
It acknowledges the harsh realities of life, domestic abuse, betrayal, societal pressures, but it also offers a glimmer of hope,
Okay.
a reminder that even in the darkest of times,
Yeah.
there's a rhythm that can carry us through.
It's like Madilu is saying,
Yeah,
yeah, life can be messy, but let's dance through it together.
exactly.
That's beautiful.
It is, and that brings us to one of the most powerful aspects of the song.
Okay.
The woman's decision to leave.
Right.
It's a bold statement, especially considering the cultural context.
Right. She's not just rejecting Sammy.
Right.
She's rejecting a whole system that tries to keep her trapped in this toxic situation. And the way she owns that decision,
Yeah.
it's electrifying.
It's a declaration of independence.
Yeah.
Remember that line? Who do you think you are to challenge my decision?
Right.
She's not asking for permission.
Yeah.
She's stating a fact.
She's done asking for permission.
Exactly.
She's done accepting the blame. She's taking control of her own narratives. And that's a message that transcends cultural boundaries and speaks to anyone who's ever felt trapped
Right.
or silenced.
Precisely, and I think that's why VIEUX SAMI continues to resonate with listeners today.
Yeah.
It's a timeless story of resilience,
Yeah.
self-discovery, and the power of music to connect us, even across decades and continents.
Wow. We've really gone deep on this one, haven't we?
We have.
From unpacking like the cultural weight of a shopping basket to deciphering those musical clues and feeling that blend of, heartache and resilience. VIEUX SAMI is a journey.
It really is. And it's amazing how much Madilu packed into a single song.
I know, it's incredible.
Personal drama, social commentary, cultural references.
Right.
It's all there, woven together with those irresistible Rhumba rhythms.
And through it all,
Yeah.
there's this one at the heart of the story making a powerful choice. She's walking away from this toxic marriage and all the societal expectations that come with it.
And that decision, as we've discussed, speaks volumes.
It does.
Especially when you consider the context of Kinshasa and Brazzaville in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Leaving a marriage, especially when you're the breadwinner,
Right.
could have carried serious social consequences.
It challenges the traditional power dynamics and expectations
It does.
surrounding marriage and gender roles. But even as she's taking this bold step, there's a part of her that still seems to be grappling with those very expectations.
That's what makes this song so nuanced and thought-provoking.
Yeah.
It's not a simple story of good versus evil or right versus wrong.
Right.
It's a reflection of the complexities of human relationships, the ways in which we internalize societal norms, and the struggle to break free from those ingrained patterns.
And that internal struggle is perhaps most evident in how she justifies Sami's behavior, particularly his reaction to the shopping basket incident. She blames herself, saying it was for the children's health. It's heartbreaking, really.
It is, and it speaks to the insidious nature of abuse.
Yeah.
The way it can erode someone's self-worth and make them question their own reality.
Right.
She's been conditioned to accept blame, to minimize his actions, perhaps as a way to protect herself from the full weight of the truth.
And it's not just psychological, right?
Right.
There's likely a cultural element at play as well.
Absolutely.
We talked about how carrying the shopping basket could be seen as emasculating for Sami. But what about for her? Could there be societal pressure for her to uphold his masculinity?
Oh, for sure.
Even at the expense of her own well-being?
Absolutely. In many cultures, a woman's value is often tied to her ability to maintain her husband's status and reputation. Defying those expectations can come with serious social repercussions.
So she's caught in this impossible situation.
Yes.
If she makes him carry the basket, she risks his wrath. But if she doesn't, she risks being seen as failing in her duties as a wife, failing to uphold those societal norms that define her role in the community.
It's a no-win situation that highlights the systemic nature of gender inequality.
Right.
It's not just about individual choices or personality clashes. It's about a system that perpetuates these power imbalances and makes it incredibly difficult for women to break free.
It makes her declaration of independence, that line, "Let me save myself from this toxic marriage," even more powerful.
Absolutely.
She's not just leaving a man, she's challenging an entire system of beliefs and expectations.
And she's doing it with a blend of strength and vulnerability that is both relatable and inspiring.
It is.
She acknowledges her own role in perpetuating the cycle of abuse, but she also refuses to be defined by it.
Right.
She's choosing to reclaim her agency and create a better future for herself.
VIEUX SAMI isn't just a song.
It's not.
It's like a conversation starter. It's an invitation to examine, the complexities of human relationships, the ways in which culture and society influence our choices, and the courage it takes to break free from harmful patterns.
It's a reminder that even amidst hardship, there's always hope. There's always the possibility of transformation and renewal. And there's always the power of music to connect us, to move us, and to challenge us to create a more just and compassionate world.
So as we resurface from this deep dive into VIEUX SAMI, let's carry with us the woman's resilience, her determination to choose her own path.
Absolutely.
Let's remember those catchy rhythms that remind us to keep dancing even when life throws us curveballs.
And let's continue to question, to explore, to unpack those cultural nuances that shape our lives and relationships. Because sometimes the most profound insights are hidden in the most unexpected places. Like a Congolese Rhumba song about a shopping basket that broke a marriage. So if someone was listening to VIEUX SAMI for the first time, what's the one thing they should take away?
I'd say listen beyond the surface.
Okay.
Don't just hear the melody or the lyrics.
Okay.
Pay attention to the nuances.
Right.
The social commentary, the emotions.
Right.
You know, this is a song that rewards close listening.
It does, yeah.
It's a story that unfolds in layers, revealing something new each time.
Like peeling back the layers of an onion.
Yeah, exactly.
You discover something unexpected and poignant each time.
And that's what makes it so rewarding.
Yeah.
It's not just a song, it's a journey.
Okay.
An invitation to explore.
Another culture.
Another perspective, another way of seeing the world.
So if anyone's intrigued by what we've talked about today, I highly recommend checking out VIEUX SAMI.
Me too.
And diving into Congolese Rhumba.
Yeah, you might be surprised by what you discover.
Yeah, music is powerful.
It is.
It can transport us to different places and times.
Absolutely, and VIEUX SAMI is a perfect example of that.
Right.
It's a song that stays with you long after the music stops.
Yeah.
It makes you think, feel, and see the world with fresh eyes.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining me on this deep dive into VIEUX SAMI.
It was a pleasure. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep those conversations.
alokisa seske mama oza koyoka ngai yeye butwa lelo nalali te oyoyo esami kobeta kotuta bominga nyonso mpona memisaka ekitunga na chateau rouge eske nasalaki mabe mama Grand Hôtel de Kinshasa alo braza bamama boza koyoka ngai yeye monsieur munda buto lelo nalali te oyoyo mama esami kotuta kobeta koboma ngai nyonso mpona memisaka ekitunga na chateau rouge eske nasalaki mabe mama Emmanuel le Grand na Houston VIEUX SAMI soki akobetanga lokola kokunda na edimwere soki okimi abambi yo libanga erataka te bambo bayeba ye o Rocky de 4 soba de soba kwiti na ye mabe o ekomisa ye tiki kwiti akoma kapite na masuwa libongo nyonso se ye mwasi wileko 12 malin na esprit ya Dieu Masamba yese Jules Bavo Mwamu biso ba oyo tosala kala na ntango ya bamege nganda biso ba oyo tosala kala na ntango ya bapekose bamive john biso ba oyo tosala kala na ntango ya bakajose saksakulu tika na be na nzoto tembe yo lalani ye mon amour président flore apenela mon amour nafikaka yo na motema nanga monima odeserva peuple tala babukingo la momanga nono sozino empresario amour amour na moningonga ekoki toka bwana naluka nanga okazo de rope soki mwa problème na debosele wana yanga tonto das mampuya tata bambula tofaniye ifutala sile lokakabana aosana boyebisa elibano yose misianake otikala setata ya Raymond de Yalo ovatelianga nzoto na tela lokola ezabe okobetanga okopesanga banduta na nzoto nanga PDG atufuka mbunze mama ngai wana bebi nesami konyokolo se na ye abala mwana mbui mama ngai wana sambo ebiesami kisomele se na ye restaurant okende mosala na tongo se kifambe chambre ebukanga na mokongo olamba na midi kaka se ngai na pokwa besami akotikanga te na mpembo kotungisanga mabele na ngai ekoma soso ndomba jomete na tongo